How's it going, gang? It's MPCavalier and your DoItIndy crew. And today we are at Q Artistry Studio, which is in the Irvington Lodge in beautiful Irvington, Indianapolis, my home neighborhood. Hanging out with our new good friend, Mr. Ben Asaykwee. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Good to meet you. Thanks for hanging out with us.
No problem.
Now, Ben is actor, director, producer, playwright, music teacher, musician, bon vivant, man about town. Is there anything that you don't do?
Windows.
You don't do windows. Good. So
actually, that's still not true. If the window needed cleaned, I would still be doing it.
That's good to know. We've got some Windex and paper towels back in the car. We'll get you started on that. Ben right now is playing the part of Sir Robin in Monty Python's Spamalot. That's the Bob Directs production of Spamalot, and that's at the Athenaeum. Okay. Yeah. And you've got a couple more performances left.
We have two more shows. Yeah. They're on Friday and Saturday, and those dates are
the 29th and 30th.
Yep, that's it.
Friday and Saturday?
Yep, Friday and Saturday.
Then it would be the 28th and 29th.
Oh, 28th, 29th, Friday and Saturday, 7:30 each night.
Nice. And are tickets still available?
I believe so.
And they're not Broadway prices?
No. I think it's $25 for the prices, and everybody keeps saying that they're comparing it to the Broadway show. So.
All right. And you're playing Sir Robin in this production of Spamalot. Now, Spamalot, of course, based on one of the greatest, if not the greatest comedy film of all time, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's not, it's a mad, 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 mad world. It's the second greatest. Playing Sir Robin in Spamalot, in that show, it's got to be a blast. It's got to be a lot of fun show to do.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because I was familiar with the movie before, but it had been years since I'd seen it. And so when I was offered the role, I had to look it up because I couldn't remember who was who for a minute. And when I looked it up, I was so pleased that was the role that I was offered because it's really fun. Plus the cast is just so great. It could not be a more talented group of people, and we're just having a blast.
Now in the show, and certainly not giving, there's no surprise ending in Spamalot, but at the end of the show, the Sir Robin character decides to go off and join musical theater. Do you ever worry that you're being typecast, Ben?
Well, it's funny because there have been times where I've known that I've had a few people in the audience, and especially from the reaction to a specific line about musical theater that line got, I could tell that it was more of a reaction towards me as Ben than it was towards Sir Robin.
Right, but that must be pretty nice that there are people in the audience.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Whenever people come to the show, and especially if they stay after and say something, that's always really pleasing. It's nice, yeah.
Right. So it's the Bob Directs production of Spamalot at the Athenaeum on Mass Ave, and there are two performances left this Friday and Saturday, the 28th and 29th. Both shows go up at 7:30, and tickets are,
I think, $25
and available. So go see Spamalot. It's an amazing show, but you get to see this guy in it and some other very, very talented folks. I want to ask you about your next project, but before we get into that, I want to ask you. I did a little bit of research about you. I did a little covert work. And tell me, community theater in Indianapolis, what's the state of it? How are we doing? Are we competing with other cities our size? How is Indianapolis doing with community theater?
It's funny that you asked that because I was just having a conversation the other day.
It's really not that funny.
It's hilarious. It's interesting that you asked that because some friends and I were just talking about this the other day, and the state of community theater specifically in Indianapolis is at a really interesting stage because we're starting as a city to grow in different areas, and a lot of the arts are growing on a daily basis. And right now there's some branching off of different areas of what would be called community theater. For instance, at Q Artistry, we're not technically a community theater. Bob Directs isn't technically a community theater because they're paid gigs. Where we do one show a year that we call our Q-munity show at Q Artistry, and that's a non-paid gig, and it's for anyone in the community. But community theater itself, with Footlight and Buck Creek Players and quite a few others, they're taking chances, they're taking risks, they're doing shows that normally community theaters would not do, and that's only doing more to help the smaller companies like No Exit Performance and Eclectic Pond and Q Artistry take chances as well, because then people are more open to that. If people have been going to Footlight for 40 or 50 years, I think they've been around for 100 or 75 or something, and they've been taking a few chances, then they might take some chances and go see an original piece at Q Artistry, or see a Shakespeare be reimagined or something like that. So right now we're in this like phase where it's almost as if it's at make it or break it phase, where we're growing rapidly, and so we could either demolish ourselves by growing too rapidly and spreading our dollar too thin, which I don't think is going to happen, or instead we could be flourishing, which I think is what the direction we're headed.
Right. Are you doing Fringe this year?
We are.
Good. Can you tell us anything about what you're doing?
I can. It's been announced. We are doing a piece that I wrote about a year ago called De Sade, and it's based on the works of the Marquis de Sade. So it's not kid-friendly by any stretch of the imagination, which is so funny because last year our show was kid-friendly, and actually we did a show called Bot, and a lot of the people that enjoyed the show the most were kids because of the style of robot musical that it was. But this year it's just 6 performers, and there's certainly not children.
Is it a musical?
It is a musical.
So it's a musical based on
Marquis de Sade's works.
That's sick. Man. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be really fun. There'll be a lot of comedy in it too.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hilarious because
he's such a funny guy.
He's such a funny, so jocular. I just read him in laughs. You seem to. That seems to be kind of a hallmark of your work.
Yeah,
is to take popular culture moments that wouldn't be considered as musical comedy,
right,
and kind of twist them into musical comedy. Because the last show I saw was here, which you wrote and directed, which was called The Foul,
right,
which was a musical comedy retelling of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds with an all-child cast.
Right.
So I think
two big red lights there, probably.
Exactly, and the show was very, very funny.
Well, thank you.
The songs were really, really good, and the thing that really struck me was in the second act. And I know I'm telling you folks something about something that you won't be able to see, but just to kind of give you a little insight into this guy's brain, the entire second act of the show was a retelling of the film from the Birds' point of view.
Yeah.
And you took, with an all-child, there was like 30 kids on stage.
Yeah, we had 24 kids.
8 to 14?
No, it was 8 to 12.
So 8 to 12-year-olds, you had 24 of them. And in the second act, the show does go down some dark,
very dark
places, and the kids were amazing. And
weren't they, though?
I think that they weren't just kind of regurgitating the lines that you told them to say.
No.
They really seemed to get it. And I don't know how many of those kids had actually seen the film.
Well, we actually watched the film all together.
Okay.
That was one of the things during the audition process that I talked to the parents about, and I cleared with them right off the bat. Obviously, there were some things in the film that some of the 8-year-olds that they were going to find troubling. And I remember as a kid when I saw it for the first time that there were a few moments that I thought were really, really scary. But oddly enough, the kids didn't find it nearly as scary as probably what I did when I was a kid, because some of the special effects have moved on, and so it seemed probably a little hokey to them.
Right.
But it was more about the imagination of realizing what was happening at that part, that people's eyes were being pecked out by birds, and that kids had to like digest that. And
see, I haven't seen the movie; you just gave it away. So now,
that's not at the end. That's in the middle. But yeah, in the second act, we went down some dark paths, and we talked about what it meant to do everything from warlike situations, and some of the kids just really, really, really nailed it home in the sense of we talked about what the angle we were taking, and then at that point we went there. And there were times where I said, okay, for instance, one of the moments when the kids were singing as birds, they were singing about what they would do to humans if they got their hands on them, and we came up with some pretty graphic scenarios together of what would happen, and I'm sure that some people would probably never think that I'd have a conversation with kids about how spleens come out of stomachs, and like how you could take a beak and rip somebody's intestines out of their stomach. And that's gross.
It was a great show.
Well, thank you.
And I brought my 9-year-old son to it. He had a lot of friends.
Did he like it?
He absolutely loved it.
Good. That's great.
So let's talk about your next show, which is going to be done here at Q Artistry.
It is.
It's called Circus Grimm.
Now,
your very brief explanation of Circus Grimm, when you came to talk about The Foul, is what led me to want to interview you.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Tell us about Circus Grimm.
Well, first off, it's the Brothers Grimm fairy tales told in a circus format, The Brothers Grimm were both German, so there's also that angle. Everything is very harsh and German and dark. Most of the Grimm Brothers fairy tales have either dark endings or somewhere dark along the way. Most of the time, the villains are treated really, really interestingly in the end. And so taking a look at that and spinning in a modern direction, all the music is rock style music, and it's pretty hardcore. There's a nice big cast of like 23 people. And one of the things I'm most excited about is the cast. The cast is a great group of people, including myself and the two other artistic directors of similar-sized companies, Georgiana Smith and from No Exit Performance and Tom Cardwell from Eclectic Pond. And for us to be able to team up on something is really kind of fun. And then on top of that, we've got people from all companies all over town. And so it's going to be something really interesting.
So it's a rock musical.
Yeah.
It takes place in a circus.
Yeah.
And its narrative is based in the Grimm fairy tales.
It is. And there's a little bit of
sounds
German language.
hilarious.
It actually will be very funny.
I'm just going to be sitting in the front row.
You know, it's funny because people say that. I wrote a show called Cabaret Poe, and it has a lot of really funny parts, and people would never imagine that Edgar Allan Poe would be funny either.
Right.
And,
I think if it's done correctly, the way that you seem to be doing it, I think that humor could be found.
Oh, yeah.
In anything, you just have to get it.
Yes.
Yeah. So when does Circus Grimm open? When can people see it?
It opens July 12th, which is a Friday, and then it runs the consecutive 3 weekends.
Okay.
On Friday and Saturday, and then there's a couple Thursdays and Sundays.
And that's going to be here.
It will be.
Q Artistry, second floor of the Irvington Lodge, which is on the corner of, it's that great old building on the corner of Washington and Ritter.
Yes.
Are tickets available now?
Yeah.
And how much are they?
They're $20 is the main, is the general cost, and then I think $17 for students and seniors.
Okay. And there must be, there's a Facebook page for Q Artistry.
There is.
And then we could visit there.
Yep. And there'll be tons of, and there's a website, qartistry.org. And you can definitely find ticket information and information about Circus Grimm on there too.
Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that show. Circus Grimm is the name of it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. You should check it out. This guy may very well be a genius.
I don't know about that.
And don't forget about 2 performances left. The Spamalot. You get to see this guy on stage as Sir Robin in Monty Python's Spamalot at the Athenaeum. 2 more shows this weekend, Friday and Saturday, the 28th and 29th. Tickets are $25, and showtimes are at 7:30. Ben Asaykwee, it's been a pleasure meeting you and talking to you. I thank you very much. Are you ready to do 3 questions?
All right, I'm ready.
All right, let's do 3 questions with
I'm
actor,
kind of
director, playwright, bon vivant man about town, Ben Asaykwee. Nervous bon vivant. Ben, what song makes you happy?
What song makes me happy? That's an easy answer. The song that makes me happy is "You Are My Sunshine."
My Only Sunshine. Wow, that's awesome. Wow, we're in the Wayback Machine.
Specifically, the Nat King Cole version. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Is there another one?
Love it. Well, I don't know, like old-timey version from like the 1800s or something, probably. But
right, the old scratchy cylinders, sure. What about, so You Are My Sunshine, Nat King Cole, excellent choice. You are a musician, you play, I know that you're also an instructor, but in your musical performance life, what song that someone else has written do you like to play the most?
Oh, what song?
So what's your favorite cover song to play?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thank you very much. I was up all night thinking of it.
What song do I like to play the most would be like on, my instrument of choice is the piano, and I would have to say it would be, that's tricky. I'd have to say it's a toss-up between The Rose.
Okay.
Because I have written an arrangement for that, and I love doing it. Of course, that's kind of cheating, I guess, because I'm using my own arrangement of somebody else's song. And I would say the other one would be, let's see. Gosh, there's so many. I would say probably, this interview just died because I'm like so long.
Well, you got the rose. You got the rose. That's okay.
Yes, but that's such a dippy answer for me.
And we'll edit all the silent stuff out.
Okay, good.
If
I think about it, can I answer it after I answer this question?
You can skip this one and come back. It's just like the SAT.
Oh, good.
So what about is there a specific album? Yes, I still call them albums. I'm showing my age. Is there a specific album that you could not live without?
Yes. There's a specific album I could not live without.
Can you tell me what it is?
Oh, I thought that was the question. You said 3 questions.
You're
I
right.
just answered it.
You're right. So this is the 4th question. What is the album that you could not live without?
I could not live without the soundtrack for Into the Woods. The
Into
musical.
the Woods. Oh, well, I remember when that opened in New York. That was I remember who was in it too. Bernadette Peters was in
Yep.
the original Broadway cast of that. I
Yep.
think we might actually own that soundtrack.
On an album? Like an
No,
album?
on a CD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on a CD.
That's going to be impressive if you had the LP of that.
Yeah, there may be a story behind that. So the soundtrack to Into the Woods, that was a great show, and there was
Yeah.
some great music in it. Do you like cookies?
I love cookies.
Would you have a cookie with me?
Oh, certainly.
Okay, so let's have a cookie with Ben Asaykwee. These are, my wife made these. There's nothing illicit in them that I can tell you about. These
That you can tell me about?
No, they're actually dreamsicle cookies, so it's orange
my
and vanilla
goodness.
cookies. So let's have a cookie.
All right.
And let's thank Ben Asaykwee for joining us on 3 Questions. It was great. I
problem.
appreciate it. Let's try this. Not bad.
Oh, they are dreamsicle
I told you. It's actually real orange zest.
They're
She did not-
delicious.
These are not out of a box. She made
Well,
these from scratch.
I guess, because you said your wife made them.
She made them.
These are delicious.
They're
What's your
delicious.
wife's name?
Leah.
Leah, thank you. Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you. I got a whole box of these at home.
I'm just going to shove the rest in my mouth.
No,
I
go
can't
for
stop.
it. DoItIndy. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
I drew this.